Hi folks, the Filipina P here. And I just did a poll where I asked you folks what your future plans were. And quite a few of you said you wanted to find a woman overseas and bring her back to your home country. Now I've already made a few videos about whether or not that's a good idea, but it often does work out. Before you do anything hasty though, you might want to know how she's gonna react to living there. Will she get homesick? Can she adjust to your culture? And will she stay the same person she was? Compared to the Philippines, this is a totally new world. So today, I'm going to talk about some of the things I've noticed that a Filipina might have trouble adjusting to, as well as some of the things she's gonna love. Now, for those of you that don't know, I've been to Australia, I've been to the UK, and I'm planning a trip to Canada. And this is my second time here in the US. So I'm starting to get a good idea of what life is like in the West. Of course, they're not all the same, and there are plenty of differences within each country, especially here in the US because each state is like a different country. But there's so many similarities that the things I'm gonna mention will be the stuff your Filipina's gonna notice. And one of the first things she's gonna say is, "Where is everybody?" No one's on the road. No cows, no people, nothing. So coming from the Philippines, where it's 10 times, the population density compared to the US, you'd feel empty here. And even if you go to the stores, nobody's in there. And your mall is pretty much empty. You have strip malls and little independent businesses everywhere. Everything is so spread out. Unless you move to a big city, you're gonna have to learn how to drive. You have to have your own car and not rely on public transportation. Not a lot of Filipinas know how to drive. Basically, we're reliant on trikes, jeepneys, and public transportations back in the Philippines. We just can't afford to have our own cars. So you have to teach your wife how to drive here in the US and actually pass the exams. So please, my fellow Filipinas, don't do it just like, unlike in the Philippines that you can get your licenses, wink, wink, even though you didn't pass your exam. You have to really pay attention here. Traffic laws are not suggestions. They're actually rules and regulations that you have to follow. But ladies, don't worry, because once you know the ins and outs and the traffic rules and everything, it's basically a breeze. Another thing I noticed is that they have plenty of traffic lights, even inside a neighborhood or a community. We don't have those in the Philippines. And you better go when the light turns green or you'll get honked at after about 3 seconds. It kind of happened to me the other day. There's no Filipino time at traffic lights. Americans expect you to go. So another thing that you'll notice here in the West is the wildlife. There are different kinds of creatures: alligators, squirrels, armadillos, herons, chipmunks, and I think I saw the other day a possum, and all the stuff I saw in Australia. So yeah, I know some of you Filipinas who are new here, you might be wondering what those things are, because in the Philippines, we don't have a lot of wildlife, really. Maybe we ate them all. I don't know. But here, they live amongst people. I haven't seen anyone try to hunt them or not even try to shoot them. The other night, I was throwing my trash out. I saw this creature that looked like a bandit because it's got this bandana print on his face. Turns out to be a raccoon, and he was just standing there right in front of me. He's not even afraid of me, and it's almost like he's waiting for me to give him my garbage. He was so cute. I just want to give him more food. Some people here, they say they're a nuisance and they want to try to get rid of him, but that guy was the cutest. I just love animals. there's just plenty of animals. Another thing I noticed in this country is virtually no noise. I love it, but if you're an average Filipino, you would hate it. I have this friend, she told me the first time she moved to the UK, she hated it because there is no sound where they live. And I asked her, don't you like it? You can sleep and then no one's gonna bother you. She said it's kind of creepy. She didn't like it. I'm used to noises in the Philippines. I can sleep through it. Barking dogs, motorbikes, chickens, because we're so used to it. But here, there is one noise that I'm not accustomed to. I visited a friend and she lives near a highway and there's a constant noise of cars passing through. It's like a constant humming noise because cars, fly here like zoom, zoom. I'm not used to it because of the traffic in the Philippines. We don't drive that fast in the Philippines because, it's heavy traffic. So her apartment was next to a highway and I can hear the cars non-stop. And I was like, this is driving me nuts. I should be okay with this. I am built for, to withstand Philippines noise, but not that kind of noise. So generally, there's not a lot of noise pollution here and there's not a lot of trash. Unlike in the Philippines, you'll see trash cans everywhere here. It's almost like everywhere I look, there is a trash can, which is a love. And aside from that, I think it's the people and how we are raised. Because back in the Philippines, I noticed that some people wouldn't hesitate to just throw their trash away in the road. Just no concept of what's gonna happen to the trash or no concept of taking care of Mother Earth. But here, it's more like it's almost instilled in them. Like you don't litter. You throw your trash in the bins and that kind of stuff, which is very, very nice because even back then in the Philippines, when I have a piece of candy wrapper, if I don't see a trash can, I'll just put it inside my purse or inside my pocket. But most people would just throw it outside, just dump it everywhere, which is kind of sad. Another thing you're gonna see aside from trash cans here are billboards of lawyers. I kid you not. This is so funny because every half a mile while I was driving, I saw huge billboards that say, I got my client $4 million for spilling hot coffee. I think in the Philippines, if you do that, it's illegal for lawyers to advertise their services. I think it's illegal. I have to ask Attorney Gracie about it, but it's just weird. I think it's just different. But I really love the fast pace here because you can get so much done in a day. I think I was able to sort out my phone situation. I went to the Salvation Army to pick up a used couch, which is I'm currently using. I was able to go to the car rental place and get my car situation set up and pick up groceries. And I was able to buy a jacket all in one day. And I got that jacket from a garage sale. Ladies, I know Filipinos are very frugal. You're gonna love this. So basically what they do, they turn their yards into their own little store for a day or two during the weekends. And what they'll set it up on the table, stuff that they might not need anymore. They sell it to their neighbors and the prices are so cheap. 50 cents for a jacket, $1 for shoes or that kind of stuff. We don't do that in the Philippines. We don't have yard sales because I guess we love our stuff and we don't sell our stuff. I don't know. We don't have yards. So, aside from the cheapy prices in a yard sale, if they're moving and they don't want to take their used couches or TVs or whatnot, people give stuff away. It's crazy. The other day I was walking, there is this couch just at the curb and there's a tag that says, take me. I was like, can you believe that? There's just giving stuff away. There's nothing wrong with the couch. I don't know if they're moving or someone died or they just have a new couch. They don't need the couch anymore. It's just great. And aside from couches, they give out tables and chairs and TVs, literally just free. You can just, take them. Right after I got my couch already, but I got a very good deal for this used couch that I'm actually using as a bed. Another way to save here is through coupons. In the Philippines, we do have coupons, but only for 5 pesos off or very, very minimal. And the way they give you the coupons is that the company will hire someone to stand outside the store and hand out coupons. They don't mail it to you because in the Philippines, we don't have proper addresses and we don't have mailboxes. Here in the US, they send it through the mail. And not just one coupon. Sometimes it's a magazine of coupons. And I'm telling you, it's not just $1 off for something or $3 off for something. It's massive discounts, like 30% off for this service or 50% off for that item, or I don't know, buy one, take one free, that kind of stuff. So I met this lady the other day and she told me she saves a lot using coupons. So what she does, she collects coupons, and when she goes grocery shopping, she doesn't use money to pay for her groceries. She uses coupons. It's like, wow, really? So she said she doesn't have to pay a dime. I don't know if it's true, but that's what she told me. And for someone like me who wants free stuff, like, heck yeah, sign me up. So I might want to see her again, and then I want her to teach me how to do the tricks. This woman, she has a daughter, and I overheard their conversation. The daughter was asking her, hey, Mom, can my friend come over or, to do sleepover? And I said, that's one thing we don't do usually in the Philippines. We don't do sleepovers in the Philippines. I've seen that a million times on TV, like, Western countries doing that, but not really in the Philippines. And I was like thinking, why not? Why don't we do sleepovers? When you're a kid, that would have been so much fun talking about boys and then your crushes, that kind of stuff. But now I realize why we don't do sleepovers. It's because in a normal Filipino household, we don't have our own bedrooms. Because it's gonna sound weird, like, hey, you want to come over for a sleepover and then sleep next to me and my family like sardines in the living room? Because that's how we do it. So yeah, maybe that's why we don't do sleepovers, which is kind of sad. Oh well. One of the things that might overwhelm your Filipina is the endless options for everything. Let's say you guys are out to buy lotion. In the Philippines, you might see 3 or 4 kinds of lotions. But here, it's like the whole aisle. Like, it'll take you more time to choose which lotion to buy than it'll take you to use it all up. I kid you not. And aside from that, guys, different lotions for every part of your body. What's up with that? In the Philippines, you just, buy a lotion and then lather it up and then use it in all parts of your body. But here, there's a different lotion for your hands, different lotion for your elbows, different lotion for your neck and your chest. And why? But the best thing is the food here. I know it's very subjective, and a lot of you folks would say, oh, food here is so processed and yada, yada, yada. Guys, you might not think about this right now, but if you live in the Philippines permanently, you'll miss your food here. I know that you say, oh, it's so processed, it's so unhealthy, that's why Americans are this and that, but you have options not to buy junk. There are still organic vegetables and fruits, and it's just the choices. Even if you have the money in the Philippines, there are still things that you cannot buy with money. If you want a Chinese takeout, you would think like, heck, yeah, there should be, Chinese food in the Philippines because China is close to the Philippines. Think again. It's not the same thing. It's not. They say it's Chinese food, but I don't think so. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Filipino food. It's just that you'll miss what you're accustomed to or that kind of stuff. So it depends on how important food is for you. So yeah. Although there's one thing that I'm not used to. It's the complicated tipping culture. In the Philippines, we're happy if you give us a tip, and then we don't oblige customers to give us a tip. But here, I'm just so confused because it's almost like you have to. When you get your bill, there is the list of how much you should give as a tip. There's like 5%, 10%, 15 to 20%. But then again, when you go to a buffet, it's not expected for you to give them a tip. But then if you go to get a haircut, you're expected to give a tip. It's a haircut place. They're supposed to cut your hair. So why would they expect you to give them a tip? Or what if I go to a fast food restaurant? Do I have to tip the person who is making $15 an hour to put the burger into the bag and hand it to me? So what is it? I mean, I don't know. I'm confused. So let me know, guys, in the comment section, and I would really appreciate it if there is, like a concrete answer. Who to tip and not to tip. One thing that makes me feel guilty when I go to a store here is whenever I see an older person who waits on me, like, I don't know, I went to Marshall's the other day and there's this nice lady, I think she's in her 70s and she's the cashier. In my culture, that woman should be pampered instead of working. It's just something that I'm not used to seeing. It makes me feel guilty. I don't know, I can't help it. It's someone's grandma. It's not, hey, don't get me wrong. I mean, I guess maybe you guys are just workaholic, or you don't have family members, or you have family members, but they're no longer living with you and you're kind of bored. You just have to work, or the cost of living, or maybe a mixture of everything. But it is something that will surprise your Filipina. Ask your wives who are here already, ask them, when you first got here, did it surprise you to see older people still working as a cashier or as a waitress, that kind of stuff? So yeah, I think we'll have the same sentiments. Seeing an older lady or an older guy still working would be very wrong in our book, in our culture, because we pamper our parents and grandparents. It's almost like they have an early retirement there. They stopped working at the age of 40. I did notice though that the average person here is pretty hefty, both men and women actually. I'm just, guys, I'm just stating facts. Please don't kill me. I'm telling it like I see it, because there's a lot of women here that are just too young to let themselves go. But I didn't see hardly a single woman over 30 who wasn't overweight, and it was kind of sad. So the other day I saw this woman, she might be in her late 20s or early 30s, and she was wearing these short shorts, like short shorts. You can see her cheeks. But the problem was her ass was hanging with rolls of cellulite. I don't know if this is just a cultural thing, because the women here, they might have a distorted version of reality that maybe people are saying that they're all 10s and they're all perfect. But if I had those rolls of cellulite, I wouldn't be going out in Daisy Dukes. I don't know, guys. It was just, And for those of you folks who might be wondering, not one single person has hit on me. It's the same thing just like last time I visited. I don't know why. Well, before you say, well, that's because you're walking around with a microphone and a camera person. Well, that's actually not true, because most of the time I'm out by myself getting groceries or putting gas in the car, and not one single guy has tried to chat me up. I don't know. It's not like I'm looking for validation or anything. I'm just wondering, why not? I don't go out wearing sexy clothes, but I'm not totally gross either. I feel plenty of eyes on me, but it's more like I'm an oddity here. Like when you guys visit the Philippines and you go out in the provinces, you're gonna get stared at. And even though we've seen a million foreigners on TV and in real life, we still can't help looking. I know there are plenty of Asians in the West. There's just not hardly anywhere I'm at. So, depending on what part of which country you take her to, she might feel like she sticks out. If she's really shy, that might make her feel uncomfortable. But it sure doesn't bother me at all because I'm an introvert. I'm like a hermit anyway, so I don't worry too much about what other people do. But as far as whether a Filipino will become Westernized, that just depends on how you define it. Do you mean she'll get used to modern conveniences like having a washing machine? Then yep, she probably will, just like anyone would. I'm sure there are places in the world without running water that I'd call Filipino spoiled because we have indoor plumbing in our country. So it's really just a matter of perspective. But does it mean she'll come to the West and start accepting outrageous ideas and feminist ideology? Well, that depends on her and what kind of person she is. It certainly wouldn't work on me because I'm not very naive or impressionable. I'm more likely to convert the women here to my way of thinking. But maybe the best people to listen to are the guys in the comment section who've already brought their Filipinas back home. Some of them have horror stories, but a lot of them say their wives stayed true to themselves, even after years of living in the West. So I guess it's more about choosing the right woman, just like it always was. Well, that's it for today's episode, and I'll be back on Friday with an interview of a Filipino lawyer who's got some things to tell you that you might find pretty useful. Till then, folks. If you think about it, I'm kind of like your pilot, helping you keep your nose up and out of trouble here in the Philippines. The main thrust of my videos is to keep you entertained and informed about the culture here, so you'll have a soft landing when you arrive. Now please exit my cockpit and return to your seats. Hit the thumbs up button on this video, subscribe to my channel, and enjoy some of my other videos while you relax. Once we reach an altitude of 1 mile, all you club members will have full use of the lavatories.